Good morning, gang. Happy Sunday. All right, here we are, 8 wake-ups from Election Day. We're close. A week from Tuesday, guys. You know, on Saturday nights, we do our live streams, Tuesdays as well. And you guys always pose some great questions. And unfortunately, there's a lot of times I don't have too much time to answer each one of them, because some of them could require a good 20-minute answer. Last night we had one of those, and I thought it was worth talking about this morning. The question was, going into the election, what should we focus on our prepping? Right? It's a great question. Like I said, we're a little more than a week away from probably completely changing this country. Could be good, could be bad. Whatever happens a week from Tuesday ain't going to make a lot of people happy. Either way, okay? Doesn't matter what happens. Based on what I'm seeing, okay, and this is not my partisan beliefs, this is just reading the tea leaves that's coming out everywhere. Trump is going to win a week from Tuesday. Ballpark, somewhere around 320 electoral votes, give or take, which means he's going to win by about 100 electoral votes. It's not a landslide, but it's a significant win. It looks like, without any problem, the GOP is going to take the Senate. The question, of course, is whether or not they hold the House. And ironically, to hold the House, that kind of hinges on California. Figure that one out, okay? The Republican representatives in California have to hold their seats. Otherwise, the GOP could lose the House. Lose the House, we're screwed. I mean, Trump needs a mandate. Trump needs both houses of Congress to fix the utter catastrophe that the Biden-Harris administration has put this country in. But what is the most important thing to prep on here in the last week? And as I said last night, I believe I'm right. Disagree with me as you will, okay? Is security. Now I'm going to give you why. And we're going to leave out the fact if Kamala Harris wins, because I really think that's an exercise in futility. I think she's pretty much got no chance at this point to win. So that brings up the first question. Do the Democrats do something in the next 8 days to cancel the election? They might, okay? Who knows? I mean, they could decide, you know what? Nuclear war in Ukraine is a good idea. And somehow, some way, stop the election. But not even going there. I want to go into the fact that Trump wins and what happens and why I say security is so important. Sorry, my voice is a little rough this morning. So let's say on November 5th, November 6th, hopefully, Trump is announced as the winner. The Biden-Harris administration is going to completely lose their collective shit. We will see the radical portion of the left wing pull out all the stops. I mean, of course, you'll have Ilhan Omar and AOC and Jerry Nadler and Maxine Waters, Adam Schiff, screaming on the media channels that, we're going into tyranny, welcome to fascism, all the bullshit lines that they give left and right, about Trump, like this whole farce that, Trump is going to be Hitler. Right, okay. That's going to motivate the unhinged sector of the left. And it's not all of them, don't get me wrong, okay? You're not going to have 60 or 70 million Harris voters, that would be a lot for her to get. They're not all going to start burning down cities and shooting people and committing crimes and, look like a celebration of Vancouver Canucks winning a hockey game or, the Detroit Red Wings or something and burning down their own cities and flipping police cars. It's not going to happen everywhere. But it is going to happen in a lot of places. That's inevitable. Maybe smaller. May not be Portland or Minneapolis where half the city's on fire, but it could be. And are you there? Are you ready to do what Kyle Rittenhouse did and stand guard over the front of your house when torches and pitchforks start coming down the street? People are throwing Molotov cocktails at people's houses, police stations, businesses, looting, all that sort. Are you ready for that? Okay. You need to be. I pray to God nobody has to do anything, but a 0% chance is a fool's errand. Somebody's going to have to do it. Mark my words. A week and a half, 2 weeks from now, we're going to be talking about the second coming of a Kyle Rittenhouse, because there's going to be situations like that. So you need to prepare. You need to be ready. You need to have somebody, you need to be ready to have somebody posted guard literally that night. A lot of us will probably stay up very late that night waiting for the results to come in, whether or not they do. I would advise you to have your friend on your hip, or preferably your longer friend on your shoulder. Let's just put it that way. Having security lights in the house where you can see from the window. It's like, oh, it's dark. It's 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever. And all of a sudden the light goes on and you can go out on the front porch, on the back porch or whatever, and aim center mass to whatever's there, if somebody is. There's no reason anybody should ever be on my property at 2 o'clock in the morning, period, okay? If they are, they're a threat, the end. So that's just the first couple of days. But what do you think Biden-Harris administration's going to do? Well, remember, they're still in charge of the country. Okay, it's not like Trump wins on November 5th, he takes office on November 6th. They still have 2.5 months that they are running the country. They can do a whole lot of damage in those 2.5 months. And I guarantee you that's their fail-safe plan. If they lose, they are going to try to destroy the country. They might try to declare martial law. They might try to call the military up against people. I have a feeling, though, that the boots on the ground would refuse a lot of the orders. When they're given orders to shoot Americans, I don't see that happening. Okay. Now, of course, if they are threatened, that's a different animal. And I hate to tell you this, but the military is a little better armed than most police officers. Okay. Yeah. You think it's bad when you have a cop shooting and all these people screaming, George Floyd, he violated his rights. Right. Do that to a soldier who's carrying an M4 or an M16 or something like that. Okay. Yeah. There won't be much left of the guy who was causing problems. Let's just leave it that way. So what is Biden-Harris going to use as their militia? Oh, I don't know. 20 million illegals might be willing to do something. After all, they've been told they're getting kicked out. They don't want to go back to Haiti, to Venezuela, to Sri Lanka, wherever. They may fight to stay here. Biden promised I could stay. Kamala Harris promised I could stay. Trump wants to kick me out. I'm going to fight to stay. Don't be surprised if a lot of them wind up violent and armed. Think about that. Okay? You may have that situation where you have all these illegals that have been brought in, military-age males, remember, guys, that all of a sudden are looking out for their best interest. They can't vote, but they can shoot. They can do damage. They can throw Molotov cocktails. They can run people over with cars. Look at Springfield, Ohio, and the Haitians. Okay. So let's say that we even make it through that, and we get all the way to January 6th, okay, which is when Congress has to certify the election. Kamala Harris has to be the one to basically sign off on it. The Democrats have already said that they're going to decide for themselves that the will of the people is null and void. They're going to try to supersede the Constitution and say Trump is not eligible to be president, and they're going to refuse to certify the election. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but this is a possibility that's been talked about. Then what happens? Then you have a whole bunch of people on the right who are extremely pissed off. And if you think the last January 6th was an insurrection, pull that stunt. Then you will see a real insurrection. And now you have civil war. The Democrats will try to do anything they can to sabotage Trump's presidency. I mean, whether it's escalate wars, whether it's try to crash the economy. I mean, they're already doing things to do it, because the effect of their actions now won't take effect until the Trump presidency. And then, of course, the Democrats will come out then and say, like I said about Medicare a week or so back, look what Trump did to Medicare. The prices just tripled. Of course, people aren't smart enough to do the research to realize that that was all put into place before. They just look, the day it happened, who was president? Okay. It doesn't work that way. Again, I'll use the analogy of a fruit tree. The day you plant it, you don't start getting apples. All right. The Democrats are planting the seed. They want Trump to have the poison fruit. That's the game plan. So what winds up happening then? Trump wins. Do we have blue states that say, we want to secede from the Union. We don't recognize Donald Trump as our president. We recognize Kamala Harris, and we're moving the capital to San Francisco? Possible. On the other side, do we have red states that say, this is the way it's going to be, Trump is president, either shape up or ship out? Okay. That's very possible as well. Ultimately, this is a worst-case scenario. But it brings to mind the adage that most preppers have, pray for the best, expect the worst. Okay. I'm hoping we have a peaceful transition of power, considering how corrupt and criminal the Biden-Harris administration is. I ain't counting on it. Okay. I'm hoping that a good economy will bring this country a little bit back together. I mean, I'm sorry, we're never getting past the abortion issue. The stupid part is the Democrats keep running on it, and it'll never, ever happen. The best thing ever happened was it went to the states, because Congress will never pass a ban or pass a law that says it's federally allowed. Okay? It's just, that's a landmine that no senator or representative is willing to step on. Okay? They won't do it. I don't care which party. It'll never happen. It's a great argumentative talking point for them, but there is no solution to it. The biggest concern we have, of course, is the economy. Does Biden try to crash the economy? Sure. How much money has he embezzled from Ukraine already? Where's it hidden? Okay. Joe, you got a Swiss bank account? You know, something off in the Cayman Islands or something, maybe? I bet that's probable for, I don't know, the Nancy Pelosi's, the Jerry Nadlers, the Chuck Schumers, the Joe Bidens, the Kamala Harrises. I bet they've all got their dirty money hidden somewhere. So they don't care if they collapse the U.S. economy. They'll go somewhere else. Ultimately, it comes down to you protecting yourself. There's practically no question in anybody's mind, liberal or conservative, that in 8 or 9 days, we see the United States descend into violence. It could be the end of the republic as we know it. It could be Trump is the last president of the United States of America. Not because he's going to be a dictator or anoint himself king. More likely, we are watching the fall of this country. I'd give us a 60% chance of making it to the next election as the United States of America. Not because of any damage Trump's going to do to it, but the damage that this division that was all started by Barack Obama has done to the people. There is no coming back. You guys know this as well as I do. We could all hope it does, but there is no coming back together. We are too opposite. When the answers are, there's two genders, male and female, and the first comment from somebody on the other side goes, "You're a fascist." You can't have an argument with an insane person. One of the best things we can do, we've heard a lot of talk about the mental health crisis in the country. We need to reopen the mental asylums. The problem is we need tons of them, and thank God Trump's a builder, because we have 60 or 70 million people that are mentally deficient. And a cornered animal is the most dangerous of all. Be ready, guys. It's gonna get ugly. Maybe not necessarily in your neighborhood. Maybe it is. Depends on where you live. Like I said last night, if you live in rural Oklahoma, you're probably okay. If you live in Philadelphia, you better be locked and loaded. Pinball out.